The Curates Grand Fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, their obsidian ships reflecting Earth's sun like polished black diamonds. Admiral Vexthor stood on the bridge of the flagship in inevitable victory, his four arms clasped behind his back as he studied the holographic display of the primitive planet before him. His scaled skin rippled with anticipation. Another world to add to the Empire's collection. Initial scan complete. Admiral, reported Chief Technician Zariel, her crystalline fingers dancing across the quantum interface. Primitive nuclear-based weapons, basic orbital satellites, no energy shields. Their most advanced vessels still use chemical propulsion. She paused, mandibles clicking in amusement. They haven't even developed basic gravitational manipulation. Vexthor's upper lip curled in what passed for a smile among his species. Hardly surprising. Send the standard greeting package. Full sensor sweep, weapons demonstration, and terms of surrender. Let's not waste time with these primitives. The massive fleet moved into position, their sensors penetrating every corner of the planet below. The Curates prided themselves on their technology, particularly their omniscient eye-scanning system, capable of detecting everything from nuclear submarines to individual weapon signatures. Nothing could hide from their sensors. Nothing ever had. Which was why the first explosion caught everyone completely off guard. One moment, the support cruiser Eternal Vigilance was maintaining its perfect position in the fleet formation. The next, its quantum core detonated in a spectacular burst of blue-white energy. Before anyone could react, two more ships suffered the same fate. Impossible. Zariel's fingers frantically worked her console. There are no weapons signatures, no approaching vessels, no energy readings at all. Admiral Vexthor's scales darkened with rage. Check for cloaking technology. Sir, we're detecting nothing. According to our sensors, there's literally nothing there to detect. That's when the communication channel crackled to life. The voice that came through was calm, almost casual. This is Colonel Sarah Chen of Earth's Special Operations Command. I see you've met our Phantom units. Impressive technology you have there. Shame it can't detect what it doesn't understand. Vexthor's primary heart skipped a beat. The voice was coming from directly behind his fleet's formation, a supposed impossibility given their sensor screen. Show yourself, human. Face us with honor. A soft chuckle came through the channel. Now why would we do that when your inability to see us is working so well? Here's the situation, Admiral. Your sensors are based on quantum probability mapping. Very advanced. Unfortunately for you, we've developed something better. We call it quantum uncertainty manipulation. Simply put, we exist in a state your sensors literally cannot process. As if to emphasize her point, another Curates vessel erupted in flames. Preposterous. Zariel shouted. Such technology is theoretically impossible. The energy requirements alone would be massive. Chen interrupted. You're absolutely right. Good thing we figured out zero-point energy extraction while you were busy perfecting your scanning systems. Amazing what humans can accomplish when properly motivated. Vexthor felt his scales beginning to pale, a sign of extreme stress among his kind. What do you want? Want? Oh, we don't want anything from you, Admiral. This is simply a demonstration. You see, the Phantom program was developed because we knew this day would come. Humanity looked to the stars and realized that advanced civilizations would likely have equally advanced detection systems. So instead of trying to beat those systems, we found a way to exist outside their frame of reference entirely. The Admiral watched in horror as more ships reported critical systems failures. No warnings, no sensor readings, just perfect ships suddenly becoming dead in space. His mighty fleet was being dismantled by an enemy he couldn't even detect. It's really quite elegant, Chen continued, her voice taking on an almost educational tone. Your sensors can't detect us because, from their perspective, we don't exist. We operate in what you might call the blind spots of reality. Your technology is trying to observe us, but the very act of observation forces our quantum state to collapse into uncertainty. Simply put, Admiral, you can't fight what you can't perceive. This is impossible. Vexthor slammed all four fists onto his command console. No species could develop such technology without us detecting their progress. That's the beauty of it. You did detect our progress. All those primitive technologies you observed. Perfect camouflage. While you were laughing at our chemical rockets, we were perfecting quantum manipulation. While you were mocking our nuclear weapons, we were learning to step between the moments of reality itself. The Admiral felt the situation slipping further from his control. Half his fleet was either destroyed or disabled, and his vaunted sensors still showed nothing but empty space around them. Everything he knew about warfare, about technological superiority, was being proven wrong by these supposedly primitive humans. Last chance, Admiral. Chen's voice had lost its casual tone. You can leave now, return to your empire, and explain how humanity is not to be trifled with. Or we can continue this demonstration until your entire fleet joins the growing collection of debris in our orbit. Your choice. For the first time in his long military career, Admiral Vexthor gave the order to retreat. As his remaining ships limped back into hyperspace, he caught one final transmission from the human commander. Oh, and Admiral, next time you scan a primitive world, remember, sometimes the most dangerous predators are the ones you never see coming. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility that officially didn't exist, Colonel Sarah Chen moved through the holographic after-action report of their encounter with the Coraxian fleet. The command center hummed with activity as technicians and officers analyzed data from their first major engagement with an alien force. Quantum stability held at 99.8% throughout the operation. Dr. Maya Patel reported, her fingers tracing patterns in the air as she manipulated the holographic data. The Phantoms maintained complete sensor invisibility, even under direct Coraxian scanning attempts. Chen nodded, her cybernetic eyes processing multiple data streams simultaneously. The neural augmentations that allowed her to interface directly with the Phantom system tingled at the base of her skull, a reminder of how far humanity had come in its preparation for this moment. "Show me Team Alpha's insertion point," she commanded. The hologram shifted, displaying a three-dimensional representation of Earth's orbit. Tiny dots represented the massive Coraxian ships, while ghostly traces showed the quantum-shifted paths of her Phantom teams. Lieutenant James "Ghost" Rodriguez materialized from his quantum-shifted state nearby, his tactical suit automatically adjusting to normal spacetime. "The Coraxians never saw us coming, Colonel. Their sensor technology is impressive, but it's based entirely on conventional quantum mechanics. They got no defense against our uncertainty drives." Chen remembered the day, 15 years ago, when humanity's deep space telescopes had detected the first signs of the Coraxian Empire's expansion. While the rest of the world continued its seemingly normal technological development, a secret coalition of Earth's governments had poured resources into Project Phantom. The goal: develop technology that would make humanity invisible not just to sensors, but to the very laws of physics that those sensors relied upon. "Dr. Patel," Chen turned to the quantum physicist, "explain to me again why their technology can't detect us, in terms our political leaders can understand when they inevitably ask." Maya smiled, pulling up a new holographic display. "Think of it this way. Conventional sensors, even highly advanced ones like the Coraxians, work by measuring defined states, position, energy, mass, etc., but our quantum uncertainty drives place our operators in a state of perpetual quantum flux. We're essentially existing in all possible states simultaneously, making it impossible for their sensors to get a reading. It's like trying to take a photograph of every possible position of a particle at once." "And the energy requirements?" Ghost asked, checking his suit's quantum core readings. "That's where Dr. Kim's zero-point energy taps come in," Maya replied. "We're drawing power directly from the quantum foam of spacetime itself. Unlimited energy, completely undetectable because it exists outside normal space-time parameters. A junior officer rushed into the command center, his face pale. "Colonel, we're detecting multiple Corexian communication buoys entering the system. They're broadcasting on all frequencies." Chen's cybernetic eyes narrowed. "Let's hear it." The room filled with the harsh, metallic voice of what could only be a high-ranking Corexian official. "People of Earth, your recent action against our peaceful expedition force has been deemed an act of war. The full might of the Corexian Empire will descend upon your world in exactly one standard rotation. Surrender now, and your population will be spared. Resist, and we will demonstrate why we have conquered 1,000 worlds." Ghost let out a low whistle. "Peaceful expedition force. That's what they're calling a fleet of warships. Standard Imperial propaganda," Chen replied, her mind already racing through tactical possibilities. "They're also lying about the timeline. Maya, what are our long-range sensors showing?" Dr. Patel pulled up another display. "They're already moving, Colonel. 3 full battle fleets, at least 5 times the size of the force we encountered. Estimated arrival in 6 hours. Chen allowed herself a small smile. "They still don't understand. Size doesn't matter when you can't hit what you can't see." She turned to address the command center. "Initialize Ghost Protocol Phase 2. I want all Phantom teams prepped and ready for deep space engagement in 3 hours." As the command center erupted into activity, Chen received a private message through her neural link. It was from the UN Security Council. "Colonel Chen, you are hereby authorized to demonstrate the full capabilities of the Phantom program. Show them why humanity chose to hide in plain sight." Ghost checked his quantum core once more, the uncertainty drive humming with power. "What's the plan, Colonel?" "The Corexians think they're coming to punish a primitive species that got lucky," Chen replied, her cybernetic eyes glowing with intensity. "Instead, they're about to learn why humanity spent decades pretending to be less advanced than we are." Dr. Patel briefed the teams on Operation Schrodinger's Revenge. Maya's eyes widened. "You don't mean—" "Oh yes," Chen nodded. "It's time to show them what happens when you can weaponize uncertainty itself. The Corexians think we're primitives who somehow developed one piece of advanced technology. They're about to discover just how deep our quantum rabbit hole goes." As the massive Corexian battle fleets approached Earth, they remained completely unaware that humanity's Phantom teams were already moving to intercept them, existing in states of reality that their mighty empire had never even theorized possible. The greatest predator, after all, is the one that convinces its prey it doesn't exist. Supreme Commander Karkalos of the Corexian Empire stood aboard the bridge of the Eternal Dominion, his flagship and the mightiest warship ever constructed by his species. Around him, a holographic display showed the 3 massive battle fleets approaching the Earth system in perfect attack formation. 10,000 ships strong, each vessel bristling with enough firepower to reduce a continent to ash. Supreme Commander, his chief strategist, War Master Krell, approached with a data crystal. "We've completed our analysis of the previous engagement. The humans must have developed some form of localized quantum disruption field. It's the only logical explanation." Karkalos's secondary eyes narrowed while his primary set remained fixed on the tactical display. Logical? There was nothing logical about losing 30 ships to an enemy we couldn't detect. An enemy using technology that shouldn't exist. "Our new sensor arrays have been modified," Krell assured him. "We've added 14 additional quantum scanning frequencies and enhanced our probability mapping systems. Nothing will be able to." The War Master's voice cut off as alarms suddenly blared throughout the fleet. Ship after ship began reporting critical system failures. Not explosions this time. Instead, vital components simply ceased to exist, vanishing from reality as if they'd never been there at all. "Impossible," Krell screamed, his scaled skin turning pale. "We have 15 layers of overlapping sensor coverage. Nothing cold." "Oh, but that's where you're wrong." A new voice echoed through the command center. A human figure materialized directly in front of them. somehow both there and not there at the same time. Colonel Chen smiled, her form flickering between states of reality. You're still thinking in terms of what's possible. We moved beyond that limitation years ago. Xarkelos drew his ceremonial blade, though some part of him knew it would be useless. How are you doing this? How are you here? I'm not actually, Chen replied, her image splitting into multiple quantum states before reconverging. This is just a quantum projection. I'm simultaneously here, on Earth, and in several thousand other probability states. Your sensors can't track us because we're not avoiding them. We're existing in all possible states they could detect simultaneously. Around them, more ships reported catastrophic failures as vital components simply ceased to exist, plucked from reality by humans operating in states of quantum uncertainty. Your ships are impressive, Chen continued, gesturing to the chaos unfolding around them. But you built them assuming the laws of physics are constant. We learned to treat those laws more as guidelines. Suggestions, really. Krell frantically worked at his console. My lord, we're losing ships faster than in the first engagement. They're not destroying them this time. They're reaching into our vessels and removing specific components, transferring them to somewhere else. Quantum probability harvesting, Chen explained, almost proudly. Why destroy your ships when we can simply relocate their critical components to other quantum states? Don't worry, we're sending them somewhere safe. Probably. It's hard to be certain when you're dealing with uncertainty itself. Xarkelos felt something he hadn't experienced since his earliest days at the Imperial Academy. Fear. What are you? We're human, Chen replied simply. We looked up at the stars and realized that any advanced civilization would have incredibly powerful technology. We knew we couldn't compete on those terms, so we chose a different path. Instead of building bigger ships or more powerful weapons, we learned to step between the moments of reality itself. The Supreme Commander watched in horror as his mighty fleet began to come apart, piece by quantum harvested piece. But our intelligence, your technological development, we watched you for decades. Chen's quantum projection smiled. Yes, you did. You watched exactly what we wanted you to watch. Every primitive rocket, every clumsy satellite, all carefully crafted theater. While your spies were laughing at our primitive technology, we were perfecting the art of quantum manipulation. Tell me, Supreme Commander, did it never strike you as odd that humanity made such dramatic leaps in theoretical physics while seemingly struggling with basic spaceflight? More alarms blared as entire sections of ships simply winked out of existence. Krell's console showed the fleet's effective strength dropping by the second. You see, Chen continued, her form still flickering between states of reality. We knew we couldn't match your empire's industrial might or technological base, so we didn't try. Instead, we developed technology that operates outside the bounds of conventional physics. Your sensors can't detect us because, from their perspective, we exist in all possible states simultaneously. Your weapons can't target us because we're both here and not here at the same time. Xarkelos slumped in his command chair, watching his mighty fleet being dismantled by an enemy he couldn't fight. What do you want? Want? We want you to understand something fundamental about humanity. Chen's quantum projection began to fade. We're not just another spacefaring species for you to conquer. We're the ones who looked at the laws of physics and decided they were more like suggestions. Remember that the next time your empire thinks about expanding in our direction. As the projection vanished completely, Krell turned to his Supreme Commander, horror evident in all four of his eyes. My lord, we've lost 60% of the fleet. Critical components continue to vanish. We're detecting quantum fluctuations throughout the remaining ships that suggests they could take apart our entire fleet if they wanted to. Xarkelos finished. For the first time in the history of the Curaxian Empire, a Supreme Commander gave the order for a full retreat not just from battle, but from an entire sector of space. As the battered remnants of the once mighty fleet flowed into hyperspace, Colonel Chen stood in Earth's command center, watching the quantum probability displays with satisfaction. "Send word to the Security Council," she ordered. Operation Schrodinger's Revenge was a complete success, and add a note to the official record. Sometimes the best way to win a war is to make your enemy question everything they thought they knew about reality itself. In the heart of the Curaxian Empire's strategic command center, panic had replaced the usual ordered calm. Supreme Commander Xarkalos stood before the Imperial Council, his scales still pale from his encounter with Earth's mysterious forces. The massive chamber, normally a testament to Curaxian power with its towering quantum crystal displays and reality-warping architecture, now seemed somehow less impressive. "You mean to tell us," Emperor Vexthar leaned forward on his crystalline throne, "that these humans aren't just hiding their true capabilities. They're actively manipulating the fundamental nature of reality itself." "My Emperor," Xarkalos bowed deeply, "what we witnessed defies explanation within our understanding of physics. They didn't just defeat our fleet, they made parts of it cease to exist. Not through destruction, but through probability manipulation on a scale we thought impossible." The Imperial Science Director, Dr. Cathera, stepped forward, her crystalline data interface glowing with urgent calculations. "We've analyzed the quantum signatures from the battle. The humans aren't using technology as we understand it. They've somehow found a way to exist in a state of quantum superposition at a macroscopic level." "Explain," the Emperor demanded. "They're simultaneously existing and not existing." Cathera's voice trembled slightly. "Our sensors can't detect them because they're occupying all possible quantum states at once. It's like trying to catch smoke with a net made of concepts." Meanwhile, orbiting Earth, Colonel Chen was reviewing the latest intelligence with her command staff. The quantum probability monitor showed massive disturbances in the fabric of reality around the Curaxian home systems. "They're preparing something big," Ghost reported, his quantum-shifted form flickering slightly as he maintained partial uncertainty. "Our deep space probability sensors are detecting massive energy buildups." Dr. Patel's fingers danced through holographic displays of quantum calculations. "They're trying to adapt their technology to counter us, but they're still working within the framework of conventional quantum mechanics. They don't understand that we've moved beyond that." Chen nodded, her cybernetic eyes processing multiple probability streams simultaneously. "They're about to make their final mistake. They think they can overcome quantum uncertainty by brute force." Back in the Curaxian Empire's command center, Dr. Cathera unveiled their supposed solution. "We've modified our entire remaining fleet with quantum-locked reality anchors. By establishing fixed points in quantum spacetime, we should be able to force the humans' quantum state to collapse into something we can detect and target." Emperor Vexthar's eyes gleamed. "How soon can we launch the attack?" "The fleet stands ready, my Emperor," Xarkalos reported. 20,000 ships, each equipped with the new quantum lock technology. We'll force these humans back into normal spacetime, and then we'll show them why the Curaxian Empire has ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. The massive fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, their new quantum lock systems humming with power. The ship's black crystalline hulls bristled with reality anchoring technology designed to force the universe to play by their rules. Colonel Chen watched them arrive, a slight smile playing across her face. "Right on schedule," she murmured. "Dr. Patel, are we ready for Operation Quantum Mirror?" "All Phantom teams in position," Maya confirmed. "The probability matrix is primed and waiting." Chen opened a channel to the Curaxian fleet. "Welcome back, Supreme Commander. I see you've brought some new toys." Xarkalos's voice boomed across space. "Your quantum trickery ends today, human. Our reality anchors will force you to fight us on even terms." "Even terms?" Chen chuckled. "Oh, you still don't understand. We're not avoiding reality. We're embracing all possible realities simultaneously. Allow us to demonstrate." At her signal, the Phantom teams activated their quantum mirrors. Instead of trying to exist in quantum uncertainty, they began reflecting the correction's own quantum lock technology back at them. The result was spectacular. Ship after ship found itself trapped in a cascade of quantum reflections, each reality anchor creating an infinite loop of probability collapses. The mighty fleet began to stutter in and out of existence as their own technology betrayed them. You see, Chen explained to the increasingly panicked Corexian command, by trying to force quantum certainty, you've created a paradox. Your ships are now trying to exist in all possible states and no states simultaneously. We're just helping the process along. The Corexian fleet's formation broke as ships began to phase in and out of reality. Some vessels split into multiple quantum copies, each one equally real and unreal. Others found themselves existing in probabilistic clouds, their crew experiencing every possible version of reality simultaneously. Impossible. Theris screamed over the comm. The quantum locks should have forced a single reality state. That's your problem, Chen replied calmly. You're still thinking in terms of single states. We learned to surf the quantum foam of reality itself. Your anchors aren't forcing us into your reality. They're forcing you to experience every reality at once. Supreme Commander Tarkalos watched in horror as his mighty fleet dissolved into a quantum probability storm of their own making. Ships existed in all possible states of destruction and survival simultaneously, their crew trapped in a hellish existence of infinite possibility. Last chance. Chen's voice cut through the chaos. You can retreat now, leaving Earth and its entire sector untouched, or we can continue this demonstration of why trying to force quantum certainty is a really, really bad idea. For the second time in his career, Tarkalos gave the order to retreat. As the surviving ships flowed into hyperspace, those that could still maintain enough quantum coherence to do so, Chen's final message followed them. Remember this day and remember this lesson. Humanity didn't just master technology. We learned to dance with reality itself. The universe isn't made of certainties. It's made of possibilities. We just learned to embrace them all at once. In the aftermath of what would become known as the Quantum War, the Corexian Empire's imperial palace hosted an unprecedented event. Peace negotiations with a species they had intended to conquer. Colonel Sarah Chen stood before the Imperial Council, her form simultaneously solid and shifting through quantum states, a deliberate demonstration of humanity's mastery over reality itself. Emperor Vexthar, his crystalline crown glowing dimly in the chamber's ethereal light, spoke first. In 10,000 years of imperial history, no species has ever forced us to sue for peace. Yet here we are, humbled not by superior numbers or firepower, but by our own inability to comprehend your nature. Chen nodded, her quantum-shifted form rippling like heat waves over desert sand. That was always our strategy, Your Majesty. While other species raced to build bigger ships and more powerful weapons, humanity took a different path. We ask ourselves, what if the best defense isn't a stronger shield, but the ability to exist in all possible states where an attack could and couldn't land? Dr. Cathera, still struggling to reconcile her understanding of physics with what humanity had achieved, stepped forward. But the energy requirements alone, the computational power needed to maintain quantum coherence at a macroscopic level, would be impossible using conventional physics, Dr. Maya Patel finished, materializing beside Chen in a cascade of quantum possibilities. That's why we developed zero-point energy extraction and quantum probability computing. We don't try to maintain quantum coherence. We embrace quantum uncertainty itself. The Imperial Council chamber erupted in murmurs as holographic displays showed the full extent of humanity's deception. Decades of apparently primitive technological development had been an elaborate smokescreen, concealing humanity's true progress in manipulating the fundamental fabric of reality. Your spies saw exactly what we wanted them to see, Chen explained. Every clumsy rocket launch, every seemingly primitive satellite, all carefully choreographed theater. While your intelligence agencies were laughing at our primitive technology, we were perfecting the art of quantum manipulation. Supreme Commander Xarkalos, his scales still showing stress patterns from his encounters with the Phantom teams, spoke up. But why maintain the deception? Why not simply demonstrate your power? Chen smiled. Because the moment we revealed our true capabilities, every advanced civilization would have seen us as a threat. Instead, we appeared harmless, primitive, hardly worth noticing. It's an old human hunting technique. The best predator is the one its prey doesn't know exists. And now, Emperor Vexthar asked, his voice carrying the weight of an empire's future. Now we offer partnership, Chen replied, her form solidifying. Humanity doesn't seek conquest or domination. We've learned there are far more interesting possibilities in the quantum foam of reality than mere territorial expansion. Dr. Paddle stepped forward, producing a quantum crystal that existed in multiple probability states simultaneously. We're willing to share some of our understanding of quantum manipulation, not as a weapon, but as a tool. Imagine medical technology that could explore all possible healing outcomes simultaneously, or ships that could navigate the probability streams of spacetime itself. The Emperor's eyes widened as he grasped the implications. You're offering to teach us. We're offering to explore the possibilities together, Chen corrected. Humanity has learned to surf the quantum waves of reality, but we've barely scratched the surface of what's possible. Your empire has 10,000 years of scientific knowledge that could help us all understand the deeper nature of existence itself. As the negotiations continued, Ghost materialized briefly beside Chen, his tactical suit shifting through probability states. Think they understand yet? He whispered. Chen watched the Coraxian leaders poring over the preliminary quantum manipulation data they'd provided. They're beginning to. The greatest victory isn't defeating an enemy. It's turning them into an ally who understands why you never needed to fight in the first place. In the days that followed, the Coraxian Empire and Earth signed the Quantum Cooperation Treaty. The agreement not only guaranteed Earth's independence, but established the foundation for a new era of scientific collaboration. Humanity had achieved something far more valuable than military victory. They had shown an ancient empire that there were still mysteries in the universe worth exploring together. As Chen prepared to return to Earth, Emperor Vexthar approached her one final time. There's one thing I still don't understand, Colonel. Why reveal your capabilities now? Why not maintain the deception? Chen's form began to shift through quantum states once more. Because sometimes, Your Majesty, the best way to ensure peace is to demonstrate not just your strength, but your wisdom. Humanity didn't just learn to manipulate quantum reality. We learned when to use that power, and more importantly, when to share it. The Quantum War marked the beginning of a new chapter in galactic history. The species that had pretended to be primitive had shown the galaxy a new way of understanding reality itself. And in doing so, they had transformed a potential conquest into something far more valuable. A partnership that would explore the